I was thinking today to just talk about what Marcia and I are doing, because we're going to do a book on prison work. And I kind of gathered the material together, and she's doing the groundwork. And yeah, but I've been involved in doing prison work for, well, probably almost 15 years, 13, 14, 15 years, something like that. And collected a lot of stories from inmates that are really touching, and they just kind of write about their daily life and how they use the Dharma in their daily life to deal with the situations they encounter. And it's really very touching and very moving to hear, from their own pens, what their life is like and how the Dharma helps them. Yeah, it's really quite beautiful. So we want to, or we are collecting, or we have collected a lot of entries from different inmates that I've been writing to over the years. And, and then this morning we were discussing about how to organize them, what kind of points to bring out. Because we really want people to understand that that the people in prison aren't any different from the rest of us. That politicians use the people in prison for their own advantage, either rearranging voting districts so that, minorities can't vote, or that certain constituencies get more money for the resident number of people residing in them, even though those people aren't using the services there. Politicians use the inmates for their own gain, and yet people aren't really aware of what it's like in a prison, what the system is like, and the way it actually influences the lives of real live human beings. Yeah, and as a society, we're also not seeing the link between what we provide as public education and the prison system. And there's a very big link between the two. When we cut taxes and we cut education programs, kids don't have the education, they don't have the after-school activities. So what do? We know, okay? And similarly, in homes where there isn't enough food, where there is just chaos, where perhaps the parents have so much stress that they can't deal with it, when those homes are not getting the support they need from societal services, then the kids get neglected, they don't get taken care of, and then, what happens? The kids very naturally get into trouble. Yeah, so it's quite a sad thing to see, and I know a few of you here are teachers, and sometimes you can, I know from when I was a teacher, you can look at little kids and look at their backgrounds and say, this kid is getting schooled to be a criminal and a prisoner. Yeah, they're 7, 8 years old, but you can tell by the conditioning around them at that time. Yeah, and the question is, how can society do that to kids? How can we ignore children so that they don't get what they need and they grow up? So that the ones who have brilliant business minds enter the drug business. And I'm not talking about with Lily and Roach and like that, but the drug business on the streets. If we could get those same people with their good business minds steered in the right direction, yeah, they could really offer a lot to society. And so the same with all the other kinds of skills that inmates in prison may have, that they never have the opportunity to use to contribute to society. Yeah, because they don't have the surrounding circumstances around them that enable them to do that. So these are some of the things that we want to bring out in the book, yeah, through focusing on individual lives, but then how the system impacts people. Yeah? And I think it's very important for all of us, do whatever we can not to get involved with the US justice system that is not very just. Yeah. Just today there was an article in the New York Times about one man who, 1968, he was 19 years old, he was forced to sign a 61-page confession of committing several murders, which he never did. And he was in prison for a number of years, you know, finally after many years got out, but he was a broken person by the time he got out, having, you know, when you're 19 years old, dealing with the justice system plus the prison system, you know, it's really intimidating. And so I think we can do so much more as a society to improve society and improve the lives of individuals in it. And I think one important point along that line that I was talking about was to not see it as society here and inmates here, and you know, they have opposite purposes and one's harming the other. But to see that the inmates actually want a chance. They would love to have an education. They would love to have an outlet for their creativity. They would love to be taught skills and be given job training, and to have equal job opportunities that weren't, you know, limited by racism or having a previous record or whatever. And so if we can see that actually society and inmates have the same goals, yeah, then maybe we can, instead of building more and better prisons, which taxpayers are happy to spend money on, we could build more and better schools, which would prevent so much suffering in individuals' lives and society's lives, and provide better social services for people. So it's our little drop in the bucket contribution to changing the world. But it's really quite moving in these stories, you know, to see how these guys have learned about the Dharma and then are applying it to their minds and really using it to change how they think, and just even using it to survive in a prison situation, which is no fun at all. So stay tuned.